Good afternoon, everybody. It is Angie Atkinson, and I'm here with the lovely and talented Lise Colucci. Lise, welcome back.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Always happy to have you with us. I mean, you're pretty much a regular around here anyway. For those of you who don't know, Lise, she is my partner over at queenbeing.com. She's amazing. You're going to love her if you don't already. She's very good at everything we do. All right. So, to be fair, I'm on a little cold. Love her. Okay. So anyway, as we're waiting for everyone to pop into the chat with us, we will start here. I will tell you that number one, keep an eye on the chat for Simmarine 1969. She's one of our mod squatters. She will give you the lowdown on how to get in touch with us and how to make sure you're invited to all of these live streams each week. We do this one usually on Tuesdays or about a half hour earlier usual. Mm-hmm. Wait, did I say that right?
Usual. Half hour earlier usually. Yes.
You're feeling great today, y'all.
I'm the editor here.
Thank you.
Okay, that was me 2 weeks ago. Like, I don't know what to say.
A little loopy. It's fine. Okay, so outside of that, we're going to talk today about triggers and how you can manage them, and then we're going to open up for Q&A within the next 10 minutes or so, and let's see what we can do. Please talk to me about triggers.
Triggers. Well, after you've been in anything traumatic, especially let me start over.
Please do.
When you've had a narcissist treat you terribly and cause you to have anxiety and stress and all the stuff they cause, sometimes afterwards, things remind you of it. Boom, instantaneously you're triggered. You are set back into feeling like you're back in the situation with the toxic person, not so much like you actually think you are, but your body thinks you are and your emotions think you are. Mm-hmm. You have then what's called an emotional flashback, and you are emotionally feeling what you felt. So it could be a car driving by, or it could be a restaurant you're at, or it could be a word someone says, or an expression on someone else's face, or the way the temperature feels in the air. It could be anything. And it can trigger you to flashback emotionally to the time with the toxic person, or to the things that happen with that toxic person. And it's very uncomfortable. People get scared. People think they're still in the situation, like not think it, but feel it. So that's my quick, what are triggers?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So a couple of examples. Somebody tapping me on the shoulder, I'm very triggered, don't know why exactly. Mm-hmm. Instantly feel angry in that case. If I hear somebody suddenly scream out or any sudden loud noise, I jump. Mm-hmm. And these are like, would you say I think they're sort of built-in things, right? Right. They're sort of, even when you're healed, you might still have triggers, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. This is part of complex PTSD really. And PTSD and
sometimes certain words will get us, right? Like for me, if somebody says to me, "Look what you made me do," I'm gonna lose it for a minute. Just a minute,
Oh yeah, phrases are big.
Mm-hmm.
Actions, inconsiderate actions. Not inconsiderate. Inconsiderate's one thing. That could just be, being sloppy, but that feeling of entitled inconsideration that reminds you of the way narcissists act, and that can come in a phrase, it can come in an action, triggers me like nothing. Mm-hmm.
Right. Even like little weird things like, this one's kind of a phrase, but for example, one of my clients was, had healed and moved on, and she was with this new amazing guy who, by the way, she just married. I'm so happy for them. Anyway, and she took out the trash in wore his big man shoes, to take out the trash or something.
I'll do it.
And when she came back in, he said something to her. I can't remember the exact phrase, but something like, "Oh my gosh, look at you, you're a clown," or something. I can't remember exactly the phrase, but whatever, because she was wearing the big shoes.
Shoes, right.
But whatever it was, I mean, she was horribly triggered. Like she launched let's say a discussion that almost ended their relationship, but this guy was healthy. And so he was able to see, okay, she's not really mad at me. She's mad about something else, and figured out, well, this was a trigger. So it's just such an interesting,
I think triggers for me are the most lingering effect of having had so many toxic people in my life, because now there are so many things that just push those buttons, and I'm like, whoa, I'm really not that sensitive. Why is this? And it's really only people I care about. Like if someone else said it, it would just, who cares, right?
Right.
But it's only when I am vulnerable
Yes.
that the triggers are for me now, you know?
I think I'm the same way. Like there are certain things that will, like I said, taps on the shoulders. I can't even explain why that bothers me. I just know that every time somebody touches my shoulder, tap, tap, tap like that, it's just, I instantly feel anger. No idea why. I don't actually know if that's even a trigger or if that's just some weird body thing, to be honest.
Who knows? Well, that's the thing. It's like we don't know that people will say, why is this even a trigger? Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Right. That's right. And so, and this is actually interesting. So triggers, as Lise explained, those are kind of what would you say, like a remnant or a residual, even often after you heal. But like you mentioned, when you work through, okay, so there are certain triggers that are curable. Is that the right word? Or fixable, where you can, you can recognize. Like even right now, if somebody taps me on the shoulder, I can step back emotionally and go, okay, that's not somebody trying to hurt me. That's just my kid asking for something or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with what's the other thing? The phrases, especially.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now I can step back 2 steps emotionally and go, okay, this person doesn't mean it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm in the middle of, like, say, a mild argument or something with someone and they say that to me, forget it.
Exactly. And then what happens? For me, I go into a state of dissociation and the wall goes up, and that's it for a while. It takes a while to come out from under it.
Right. You have to kind of lick your wounds or whatever. But the thing that I noticed, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. The thing that I noticed that happens is that when a trigger happens, and like right now, it's very rare, but if it does happen now, I have to remember, like you said, the wall goes up, but not because I'm trying to disconnect from anyone, but because I have to kind of go, wait a minute, where am I? What am I doing? What's happening? Like I kind of recollect almost, or regroup, and then I'm okay. And now this is kind of I'm going to bring something out of chat here because this was brought up earlier in the chat. Amanda Looper here. She's having a hard time. And I think this is kind of connected, right? Because she's talking about she's in freeze mode.
Mm-hmm. I saw that briefly, yeah.
Right. Triggers do send us into freeze mode sometimes.
Oh yeah. Well, they send us into any of the
or fight or
we
flight.
go when we're in fight or flight.
Yeah.
Freeze is one of them.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that happens. But in her case, she's talking about it's hard to move forward, even where to start to move forward once the toxic person is gone. Okay, let's talk about that. So
that freezes, it's very common, super normal to have that experience.
There are different levels, of course.
Different people might not have it. Some people get angry and they get in fight, and some people, it just depends on who you are. So
right. So if you're in that mode, though, your body, it can't handle constant freeze mode. It can't handle constant fight or flight. That's when you start to see those physical symptoms of CPTSD coming out. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you get out of freeze mode? What is your best tip, Lise?
Well, this is exactly where I go when I say I disassociate. What I mean by that for myself is that a wall, it's like a force field comes up,
right?
And I can't, and I'm frozen behind it. And I know that I don't want to be here. I want to connect with the people out there, but I can't. It's like the big old can't comes up. So personally, I've been working with internal family systems with it, and that's why I am training in it right now. So, right, because I think it helps break it apart so that you can see the parts that are really helping you and holding you at the same time. So there's that, and that's for another time. So that is one thing I do. Another thing is grounding in my body, and like you said, recollecting and getting back kind of to the present moment, realizing, okay, those aren't, those people over there aren't the problem. That I'm triggered. Or in her case, maybe it's like, okay, the world is not the problem. The toxic situation is over. I need to recollect so I can re-engage in the world. You know, it's getting into your physical body, so one thing, I mean, this is one thing that's easier to work one-on-one with someone with, because everyone's going to have a different reaction in their body.
Right.
So having maybe someone help you with the body responses so that you can free yourself up.
Right.
Our bodies hold this cellular memory of all the trauma, and they freeze along with the emotions and everything else. And if you get out of your head and use your body and your logic, well, maybe not out of your head, out of your feelings, even though you got to feel them. I don't mean forget them. I mean,
but in the moment,
don't use them to guide. Like, I feel like I can't, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you want to, you're going to have to. So we can't follow if we can't, right? So
right. And I was going to suggest something you're kind of alluding to right now is pattern interrupts in the moment.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So in that moment, Amanda, if you find yourself like frozen, and you can understand the stimulus, right? So like if Lise walked over and tapped me on the shoulder and I froze, I'm sorry for keeping using that. It's just such a weird thing. Then I would have a moment there where I could decide, wait a minute, she just did that. I didn't like that. And then I could talk myself through it, right? Or use a pattern interrupt here. So if you tap me on the shoulder, my first instinct was to rage at you, then, well, I don't do that to people. But if I was going to, then I would do this, I would use a pattern interrupt. So I might do my little saying that I use, which is, I now cancel that thought and replace it with this affirmation of my true divine desire. That I would say something that is either only what I want. I don't say anything negative here, and I don't say anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be about at least tapping me on the shoulder, right? It could be about, I'm strong and independent, or whatever,
right.
Say there. Or you could, stand up and go walk into a different room, or you could throw some cold water on your face, brush your teeth, comb your hair. If you're out in public, you could just do the affirmation, or you could like pick out all the pink things or the green things or whatever in the room. Lise, other quick.
Well, I have an example of that, what you're describing. I have like bridge driving phobia. Hate it. We have tons of bridges around here. Most of them I can handle. There's a couple I can't. There's one I really hate. I had to drive on this weekend. Okay. So driving across it, I was like, dude, you're a small bridge. Like, first, I logically had to go in my head. You're a good driver. You've always been like, there's not a problem there. It's like a minute and a half or less. Okay. And so I had to logically, so this is like, you're stuck, you can't do anything, your world is, you're all shut down and you're frozen. Can't, you start to do the thing anyway. I had to get across to get home. There was no choice. So here we go. So what I did is I told myself, you're going to do this thing. That thing is no big deal. And you're just going to get over there. That's all there is to it. So if you're stuck in your house, you're going to get up, you're going to walk to the corner, and then you're going to walk back. No big deal. Okay. You're going to panic. Maybe you're going to feel frozen. So I did then what Angie was talking about. And I was like, there are 7 white cars on the road with me. Look, the bridge is green. Oh, look over there. There's a mountain. And then by the time I knew it, I'm like, oh, I'm off the bridge. And it was, and we did it and it was done. And so but it took active pattern interrupt the whole time. and it's okay. And I got off. I was like, okay, I'm going to get off the road. And I thought I should go over that bridge 4 more times, but I didn't have time. I wanted to go home. But, at that moment, I could have done it. And I probably should have. So, but the pattern, they work. And the other thing about it is they don't work like this. It's not magic. It's not like you go, oh, look, there's green on the leaves. There's green over here. There's green over there. And all of a sudden you feel better. You're still in the activated mode, because the other thing that happens is when you are in fight flight, your adrenaline's pumping.
Right. That's right.
And it takes a good 20 minutes sometimes for that to settle. So don't expect to feel better. Just be proud of yourself for doing the thing, even if it's getting up and taking a shower. Sorry, my tongue is dinging. Even if it's a simple little thing, just be proud of yourself for doing the thing, even if you feel icky while you're doing it, knowing that this is part of the process of how it is to get out of this fight flight.
Yeah. And on that same token, know that in that process, after you get through the moment and you have time to go home or wherever you're at and regroup and recollect yourself, it's still important for you to work through the triggers, right?
Oh yeah.
Or work through the whatever it was that caused you to go into that mode.
Exactly.
Because, right, the pattern interrupt is just a temporary, like in the moment resolution to get through it.
Right.
You know, otherwise, at least might have been sitting on that side of the bridge and like blocking traffic for hours. Who knows? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Well, we all have those moments. I once sat at a stoplight for 30 minutes crying because I forgot. I bought a stick shift and didn't know how to drive it. But I know how to drive it now. That was a long time ago. That's I was gonna mention. That's something I do though. Is like I decide I'm gonna do something and then I just do it even if I have to sit at a stoplight for 30 minutes. But your your example of the bridge reminded me of how I learned how to ride roller coasters because my friends used to tease me when I was young because I was scared to death of them. And one day I decided I'm not going to be scared of them anymore. I'm just going to ride them. I mean, I just changed my mind and I got on the thing and I rode it and I pretended it was fun. And by the time I was done, I learned how to ride roller coasters and I actually enjoyed them.
Yeah, it's good.
Off topic. But
it is. Our minds just like triggers. I feel like they're this lock and key in our mind that like holds us behind them and we have to unlock it.
Yes, that's a really good way to put it. Yeah, because there's something there.
Yeah.
I'm working on some new content for everyone about shadow work, which I'm really excited about. So we can do some of that together. Yeah, maybe a quick. Anyway, but we'll talk about that later. So okay. I have another one from the chat I'd like to bring out if you're cool. All right. Alyssa says, mine is threatening me now. If I don't stop sending out this recording that I caught him confessing to a friend about prostitutes, drugs, cheating, and human trafficking, he will drag my name too. Let's talk about it. So it sounds like you're being almost, first of all, number one, I could be wrong, but I'm going to guess that there's probably very little that you have done that measures up to all of that, right? Number one. Number two, it sounds to me like it would be a smear campaign type deal, right? So I think that if you're sitting, I mean, if you know for sure that he's done these things, some of those things are illegal. Some of them are just unethical. But I do believe that I don't think you have a lot to worry about unless he can get to you physically, because I think that, I mean, what is he going to say about you? You were a prostitute. I mean, I think anyone around you would know. I guess give us some more information, but at least please tell me your thoughts.
I've lost the gist of it. I couldn't find it. I was looking for it.
That's all right. Let me find it for you. It says, her ex, I guess, is threatening her now. If I don't stop sending out this recording that I caught him confessing to a friend about prostitutes, drugs, cheating, and human trafficking.
I guess I'd need to know in what way that he's threatening.
He'll drag me too.
He will. Yeah, I'd need to know what he's threatening and
I'd like to know that too.
And where it's being shared. Like you want to expose them. I get it. And also sometimes it isn't the effort that will require will keep you in the situation longer.
Right.
So I don't know the whole story. So that's
right. We need more of the story. But if you know for sure that these things have happened, I mean, I would contact the police.
Yeah.
But tell us a little more. Let me see if she's got any more in the thing. Let's see. No. Okay. She wishes someone would just either, and I don't see the rest of that one. Okay. Well, all right. We're gonna come back to that and see if we see anything before the end of our stream today. I had one from Peggy I wanted to read. Hold on. And tell me if you have another one, because I'm not trying.
I am having trouble seeing my phone right now for some reason. Let me turn up the brightness. That's probably why. Okay.
Peggy says, tapping on the shoulder is unexpected. Yeah, I don't like to be touched. That's probably part of it. It's even worse if it's unexpected. She gets it. Thank you, Peggy. Mystique says to Amanda, this gets easier with time and a bit of healing. You just need to seek support on the hardest days. Keep learning about what happened to you and validate everything you've been through. Mystique, you're absolutely right. And that's a really important piece of advice there. Thank you.
Brenda's got one. I'm having trigger issues because the trauma my father caused also caused very strange, unbelievable medical issues to surface. I'm trying to tell doctors about it, and they either completely disrespect or even worse, placate me. I react very badly. Okay. what you can work on there, the only piece that is yours is your reaction. So sometimes we have to look at this a little bit logically and be like, what is it I need? I need care. I need understanding. I need respect. I need, like the things you need. And then sometimes we have to realize that when we go into reaction, we get the opposite. So it could be the approach going in. It could be that is dealing with certain medical professionals. It could be, like there's, without knowing the situation, like I know when I've gotten reactive in medical situations, like I had a heart thing, I had a long time ago, it was all hormonally related. Okay. And I had this I forget what it's called, going on, weird heartbeat, arrhythmia. There you go. And I did all the tests, whatever. And I'm at this big fancy teaching hospital. And the doctor's like, well, it's benign. I said, yeah, but you don't understand. I can't do anything because it makes it so I can't breathe and I get winded and all these things happen and it feels terrible. And he's like, yeah, but it's not going to kill you. And I'm like,
Okay.
and what do I do about it? And,
Right.
and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I kind of think it could be hormonal. I just had 2 babies. And he goes, women always think that. And so then I go into reaction, what? And I'm like, and I realized I just start crying. I'm like, I'm not getting anything out of it. So I went to someone else because I'm like, forget them. And I just said, here's what I think. And I just laid it out. I said, you're the doctor. You tell me. I said, here's what I think from my own body, what I think's going on. I've already had it tested. It's benign. Boom. And they responded much differently because I went in without telling them what's wrong. I just said, it's what I think. This from my perspective in my body, and it was like this more like working together thing. I found a doctor that heard me. It's really hard medically. It can be, what am I trying to say? If you're in reaction, look at that reaction and see where it is changing things to the direction that's actually hurting your situation so that you can try and swing it back so that doesn't happen. It's kind of the only place you can manipulate here for yourself,
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. I agree. And I think also this would be my add-on to your really good advice. For me, I've noticed that if I act like I know everything, they don't like it.
Oh, no. Yeah.
If I talk about having Googled anything, they don't like it.
Nope.
Right. So what I do is I figure it out online, whatever I think it is. And then I look at how it's expressed. Right. And then I go to the doctor and I very calmly explain myself. I let them do whatever test they want to do and do all that stuff. But I calmly say, so these are the symptoms I'm having. This is what I think, I never say a diagnosis.
No.
Right. But I will explain to them maybe what happens in my body on a level that I think they can understand. And then, having researched, but not telling them I've researched, that's very powerful. And staying really, really calm.
Exactly.
That's important because if you even remotely behave like you are upset by their answers, they're not going to help you. And unless they can,
often, yeah, not all of them, but yeah, if this is going on, then that's what's going on.
Right. And I want to say one more thing. Be very, very sure of yourself. And what I mean is, if this doctor is not helping you, do not be afraid to say thank you. Leave the place and get a second opinion.
Yes, that's what I did. Yeah.
Right. That's advocating for yourself. Right.
And it wasn't like I want a second opinion because I don't like, that was really awful what they said.
It was awful.
Yeah. Right. So.
That person probably should be reported for being a sexist, but we'll talk about that.
He was one of the top there and he was teaching and there was a student behind him and the student was this young guy and his eyes went like that and he just looked in my face and was shaking his head standing behind the guy. And yeah,
it's really messed up.
It was pretty messed up. So
it's really, I really hate that. In fact, we've talking about medical gaslighting. Maybe we'll go ahead and do that next week.
Yeah, that was a good one of that.
Yeah,
because even though the guy's doing the little monitor, he was really understanding and he goes, oh yeah, all kinds of things. I'm not the doctor, but all kinds of things can affect your heart rhythms. And, he was very open to.
Well, was that doctor a surgeon, by the way, who was looking at your.
I honestly, this was so long ago. I don't know. I don't remember his name or credentials.
Well,
but he was one of the, like
Yeah.
one of the guys there who does the doctors, who does the teaching.
Yeah.
So
Well, this is what I know for sure. I know that what I've seen and read and researched, surgeons and certain types of doctors they're more often, some of them are psychopaths.
oh yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they're the best at the job because they don't get so emotionally involved. I just don't know why they talk to the patients directly.
Well, they shouldn't. They also don't like when they say, "Oh no, psychopathic surgeon." Actually, their failure, you're not doing well. So if you don't do well and they fail, not okay.
For them, right?
They win. They win, which means you win. So
Yeah.
not that we like, yeah, we
We
don't
don't
want to
encourage that, but it is what it is.
it is what it is. Yeah.
Right. And they tend to be among the best surgeons, is what I've heard. Now, I've had at least one very empathic female surgeon. Well, she was an OB though, but she did surgery on me, and she was very kind and compassionate. So I think it just depends, but in general, I would say, yeah. But okay, come back around. The one thing I want you to really remember here is advocate for yourself. You are your own best advocate, and you need to like go prepared when you have a problem like you're having. I don't know what exactly the issue is, but I'm really sorry to hear about it. It sounds like it probably is one of those lifelong reminders of your trauma, and I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, and it's like the calm. I like what you said, to go in prepared and also calm and without
Let them be the expert.
without any knowing, without like I know what's the matter attitude. Right. It's even though you probably do.
Right. I'll tell you a secret. I can find out anything that's wrong with me or anyone around me by the internet, but I can't prescribe anything. So
exactly, it happens.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Almost anything. Not everybody knows her, but anyway. Okay. Do you got one for us?
No, I didn't.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
I got one. Hey, Chris. Okay, let's see. Our mod squad in the house. Thank you guys for being here. Peggy says, I definitely have walls and freeze, but only know of 2 times where I actually dissociated. So sometimes maybe you don't dissociate. Sometimes maybe you just kind of,
Right.
Everybody is different.
Everyone's different. It's just it's my super skill. So
right.
Personally, yeah.
And for me, that was a big coping skill as well, where I used to say I was going to my happy place, and I really thought I invented a good thing.
It is a good thing. It's a skill,
right.
but yeah, you don't want to overuse that skill.
Right, because when you overuse it, you might stay dissociated.
Well, you need it to do certain jobs in life. It's basically compartmentalizing it.
Yes, exactly.
Things, and we can't stay there because it's hard to connect with others when you're there.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's see here. Amanda says it's even hard to remember that he's no longer here. I think she's talking about her. Yeah, I get that. Well, she's the one that was saying she was in the free state. How long have you guys been separated, Amanda? Let us know. Any thoughts on hard to remember he's no longer there?
Hard to remember he's not. Oh, that's so weird. It's really surreal, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really surreal. Get grounded in your present world. Feel things, like touch the tabletop. What does it feel like? What does it look like? Really ground yourself in being in the things around you. Connect with people that you can trust. Often, talk to them about their day, not about him.
Yes.
and other things around you. So taste the food you're eating, like try to get into your senses is what I'm saying, and your connection with others.
Yes.
It takes a while. That's kind of that shocky, surreal trauma thing that happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're not crazy. It's normal. It happens.
Absolutely, it happens. Yeah. Let's see here. Alyssa, I will try to PM you on FaceTime, or you can schedule an appointment. I mean, I won't be able to talk on FaceTime, but you can schedule an appointment. I don't have FaceTime because I'm not an iPhone person, but I do have other messengers you can schedule through my, well, I think, sorry, I'm having a moment here. Simmering, her screen name changed a while back. We'll be able to give you the link to schedule with me or Lise, because I know my schedule is ridiculous, but I'll try to reach out to you as well. Okay. Amanda says, I haven't showered in 3 days. Girl, that is not abnormal when you're going through this stuff, okay? I in fact got to this point when I first left where I was almost scared to shower because it sounds gross, but it wasn't like, I did shower, but I would always be afraid that, because I suddenly was a single mom. And I'd always like make my child stand in the bathroom and like I'd set him up with some toys or whatever. And while I quickly showered because I was, I don't know what I was afraid of. I had paranoid issues. But anyway, but not showering is a really common thing that happens. Sometimes when we're going through, right, you also might not leave the house very often. You also might not want to talk to anybody. You might not want people near you. I mean, Lise, any thoughts on that?
Well, it can be like depression too, that it's just, so I don't know how long ago did they say how long ago?
I haven't seen that yet. I'm
Okay.
thinking it's relatively.
Let's say this is early on. I'll just make this up because I don't know the story. Like say it's in the first few weeks of discard, or you left, they left, whatever it is, and you're just feeling horrible. You can't get up and shower. You're not really eating well. It's gonna pass. Okay, so take good care of yourself. Okay, you lay there and watch Netflix a few days. Don't beat yourself up for it, because then you're just kind of adding to your own stress. Sort of like if you had the flu, I would not say get up and take a shower unless I really thought it would make you feel better. But here's the thing, you take a shower, you might feel better. So it's kind of one of those like
conundrums.
Push yourself when you can, and when you're just, you give yourself some room in this time.
Yeah, I like to make rules for myself.
Yeah.
So when I do this with clients all the time. I say, let's set an end date to this part, right? Because I mean, I had one client who literally didn't shower for months, not healthy. But once she started to work with me, we set an end date for that part. And you can do the same thing for yourself. So if, like, say you were married for 20 years and then this person is suddenly ripped out of your life by you or them, either way, they're out now. You go through this grieving process. It doesn't even matter if you're the one who left. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
You go through it and you have to allow it to happen. Right. So if you've been fighting it, that might be why you're not able to move past it. So like Lise was saying, give yourself time to do it.
Yeah. So don't fight it. Yeah.
Right. If you're able to like take a whole month to do it, great. But most people aren't. So what I suggest to a lot of my clients is we do these expedited grief weekends, right? Where we kind of work through it when you're ready. But first you might need a whole week of just laying in bed and watching Netflix or whatever.
That's right.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's okay. Give yourself permission, because what you're doing is you're grieving someone who has been your normal for the last however many years, right? Been part of your normal. I think this is more true when it's a partner or a spouse. However, it can even be true when we're talking about a parent. I did not go through the same depth of depression and everything else with my parents that I did with my ex-husband, right? I still went through it, but it was different. It felt different.
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was this from Mona?
This was from, wait a minute, I lost it. No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It was from somebody. Do you have one from?
She's saying, they are saying, yeah, I was with him for 2 years. I just left 3 days ago and I feel like I have no control. Very normal.
Oh,
very normal. So give yourself the room. Let yourself, I mean, even in a breakup that isn't like this, 3 days out, you're still crying. Yes. You're still, I mean, yes, this is more extreme, right? It feels more extreme and really out of control. Yeah. You're not going to lose control. Just take care of yourself. Give yourself, eat the ice cream in bed. Just do what you need to do, right? Or
I agree.
Yeah. At least for another week, right. And then maybe talk to someone. Sometimes reaching out, getting a coaching session, even if it's just a one-off, can help vent the situation, get some support, feel like you're not alone.
And my schedule is really packed right now. Lise, do you have any openings in yours?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you guys can go to Lise's page on queenbeing.com, queenbeing.com/Lise, Lise. No A, Lise. Or or you can just reach out to Lise through one of our Facebook groups or her page, and schedule something with her if you are looking for a quick. Yeah, and then also your group coaching sometimes has.
That can help too.
Right. It gives them ongoing support as well throughout the week, right?
Yes, yeah. We meet 3 times, so. There's 3 different times to talk, and then there's, if you're on Facebook, there's a messenger chat that goes with it, or you can keep talking if you want. So yeah, that's there also. Yeah, sometimes it's like if you're feeling out of control, to resist too much isolation.
Yes.
And unless you're the type of person that just needs the blankets over their head, but obviously you're here, so you're not a
Right.
total isolating person.
That's
So,
right.
yeah.
And it's important to have people around you, or at least virtually, who understand you.
Get it.
Which
Yeah.
we do. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, Lise, I think we are getting ready to have to rush on out of here, but let me just say this really quick. To everyone who's here, thank you for being here. Lise, when is your next live over on your channel?
Oh my goodness. I keep saying it'll be tomorrow and I keep not doing tomorrow. I was sick last week though. So
Understood.
excuses. But so hopefully tomorrow. Things are a little less tight now this week.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And you can, if you haven't already subscribed to Lisa's channel, definitely do that. Simmering will share that in the chat. And then for those of you who are here virtually, you'll see it on the end screen here. But also you can text Lise Live, all one word, LISELIVE to 33222 and or Angie Live, ANGIELIVE to 33222, and we'll send you a text each time we go live.
Yes.
All right. Any other thing you want to final words of wisdom for the crew here today?
No, just that these triggers are normal and there is help and it is work. It's the healing. This is the lingering healing often for a lot of us.
Right on. Right on. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. We will see you next week, and Lise will see you probably tomorrow. Thanks, Lise. Thanks, everyone. Thanks to our mods, by the way, Jack, Simmering, and Christine. We really appreciate you guys being here, as always.
Bye.
All right, wait. And okay, there it goes.
Here we go.
We're out. All right, I'll see. Oh, no.